Hello, and welcome back to the Listen to English channel. We are continuing with another great story geared towards our B2 level listeners. Today, we are leaving the office behind and traveling to Japan. Our guest is Leo, an adventurous photographer who has traveled all over the world. He is going to share a story about his first trip to Tokyo, a story that didn't exactly go according to plan. It's a tale about getting lost, feeling overwhelmed, and finding help in unexpected places. If you enjoy travel stories and learning about different cultures, this video is for you. Don't forget to subscribe for more listening practice. Are you ready for an adventure? Let's listen to Leo.
Hi everyone, I'm Leo. I'm a photographer, and my job is to travel and capture beautiful moments around the globe. I like to think of myself as a seasoned traveler. I've been to over 30 countries, navigated chaotic markets in Morocco, and hiked mountains in Peru. I usually pride myself on being prepared for anything. But my recent trip to Tokyo, Japan, taught me a very humbling lesson about overconfidence and reliance on technology. It was about 6 months ago. I had just landed at Narita Airport after a 12-hour flight. I was exhausted, but incredibly excited. Tokyo had always been on my bucket list. I had everything planned out on my smartphone. The train route to my hostel in the Shinjuku district, digital maps saved offline, and a translation app just in case. I felt completely in control. I got on the express train into the city. It was evening, and as the train pulled into Shinjuku station, I was immediately overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it. Shinjuku Station is the busiest train station in the world, with over 3 million people passing through it every single day. It's an underground labyrinth of tunnels, exits, and platforms. I stepped off the train and into a sea of people. It was rush hour. Everyone was moving with incredible speed and purpose. I pulled out my phone to check the directions to the correct exit. And that's when disaster struck. The screen flickered, went black, and showed the dreaded low battery icon before completely dying. I stared at the black screen in disbelief. My portable charger was deep inside my main backpack, which was currently crushed under the weight of 50 other commuters on the train I had just left. I was standing in the middle of the world's busiest station in a country where I didn't speak the language, unable to read the complex kanji characters on the signs, utterly alone and disconnected. Panic started to creep in. I tried to find my way out using the physical signs, but they were confusing networks of arrows and color-coded lines that meant nothing to me. I must have walked in circles for 45 minutes underground. Every exit I took led to another unfamiliar street or enormous department store basement. Finally, I managed to find a surface exit. I stepped out onto the street, hoping to get my bearings, but outside it was even more intense. It had started raining heavily. The neon lights of Shinjuku were blinding, reflecting off the wet asphalt. Giant screens on buildings were blasting advertisements with loud music. Thousands of people with umbrellas were rushing past me, none of them making eye contact. The noise was deafening, a cacophony of traffic, electronic sounds, and voices. I was completely disoriented. Without my digital map, the city was an unsolvable puzzle. I felt incredibly vulnerable and small. The towering skyscrapers seemed to be closing in on me. I was soaked, tired, and genuinely scared that I would be sleeping on the street that night. I tried to ask for help, but my attempts were pathetic. I'd stop someone and say, "Excuse me, hostel," pointing vaguely down the street. Most people were too busy to stop, or they would just shake their heads apologetically, indicating they didn't speak English. The language barrier felt like a brick wall. I realized how much I relied on my phone not just for navigation, but as a security blanket. Without it, I felt exposed. After another hour of aimless wandering in the rain, my confidence was shattered. I found a small, covered bus stop and sat down on the bench, shivering. I put my head in my hands, trying to hold back tears of frustration. I felt ridiculous, a grown man, an experienced traveller, reduced to a scared child because his phone battery died. I must have sat there for 20 minutes when I sensed someone standing in front of me. I looked up. An elderly Japanese couple, probably in their 70s, was standing there under a large shared umbrella. The man had kind eyes and was holding a grocery bag. The woman was looking at me with pure concern. They spoke to me in Japanese, soft, gentle sentences that I couldn't understand, but the tone was unmistakable. "Are you okay?" I stood up, feeling embarrassed. I gestured to my dead phone, then made a walking motion with my fingers and shrugged my shoulders, saying, "Lost, hostel, lost." The woman smiled sadly and said something to her husband. He nodded. They didn't just give me directions and walk away. The man gestured for me to follow them. They led me away from the busy main street and down a series of quieter, narrow alleys lined with small restaurants with red paper lanterns glowing warmly. They took me into a tiny, steaming ramen shop that held maybe 8 seats. It was incredibly warm and smelled of rich broth. The husband ordered for me. Within minutes, a massive bowl of hot, spicy ramen was placed in front of me. I hadn't realized how cold and hungry I was until that moment. We sat there for an hour. We couldn't speak a word of each other's language, but we communicated. I showed them my camera, and they looked at my photos of other travels, smiling and nodding. They showed me pictures of their grandchildren from their wallets. They drew a map on a napkin to show me where I was and where my hostel was. It turned out I had walked 2 miles in the wrong direction. In that tiny shop, surrounded by the steam of the noodles and the warmth of these strangers, the chaos of Tokyo outside faded away. I felt a profound sense of relief and gratitude that I couldn't express in words. They saw a stranger in distress, and their first instinct was to offer warmth and food. After we finished eating, the couple insisted on walking me all the way to the door of my hostel, even though it was out of their way. When we arrived, I tried to offer them money for the food and their time, but they vehemently refused, bowing deeply. I bowed back, lower than I ever had in my life, saying "Arigato gozaimasu, thank you very much," over and over again. It was the only Japanese phrase I knew, and it didn't feel like enough. I finally got into my hostel room, plugged in my phone, and collapsed onto the bed. But I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing. That night changed the way I travel forever. Before, I treated travel like a checklist. See the sights, take the photo, move on, all while looking at the world through a screen. My phone was a shield that protected me from the unpredictability of a new place, but it also prevented me from having real experiences. If my phone hadn't died, I would have gone straight to my hostel, checked in, and probably spent the evening scrolling through social media. I would have missed the terror of being lost, yes, but I also would have missed the incredible kindness of that couple. I would have missed the best bowl of ramen I've ever tasted. I would have missed the realization that even in a mega city of millions, where you don't speak the language, human connection is still possible. Now, when I travel, I make a conscious effort to disconnect. Sometimes I leave my phone at the hotel and just walk, allowing myself to get a little bit lost. Because I've learned that getting lost isn't the end of the world. Sometimes it's the beginning of the real adventure. It's where you find the stories that are actually worth telling. Thanks for listening.
What a powerful story from Leo. Getting lost in a new city can be terrifying, but as Leo showed us, it can also be a transformative experience. In this video, you practiced B2 level listening with words relating to travel and emotion, like disoriented, vulnerable, language barrier, and reliance. We hope this story encourages you to sometimes put your phone away and trust in your own ability to navigate the world, and perhaps trust in the kindness of strangers too. Keep practicing your English every day. You are making great progress. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.